So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, and as to count 4, accessory after the fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept your no contest pleas as to each. I'm going to find a factual basis to support each based upon my review of each electronic probable cause affidavit as well as your stipulation in court here today. I'm going to further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent counsel who you've told me that you are satisfied with, that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea. Accordingly, and pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will sentence you as follows. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3 and count 4, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. I will impose mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need a set of your prints and DNA. Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable to Terry, T-E-R-R-I, Bagley, B-A-G-L-E-Y, and Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-Y, Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S, and reserving as to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not...
I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And, well, we got another rat looking like they're getting ready to bite the cheese, or already have. Because if you don't know, YNW Bortlen, who was on trial with YNW Melly for a double murder. Now, if you've been living under a rock, YNW Melly got arrested because allegedly they're saying he killed his 2 friends in the car. And this was the guy to help him try and get away with it. Because when he went to the police, Bortlen at least, he told him it was a drive-by. He tried to make it look like a drive-by as much as possible. We kind of found all this out during the trial, but for some reason it was still a mistrial there. But I guess being in jail for 6-7 years, at some point you want to go home. And at some point you want to know when you're going home. So just to have a mistrial, just to be retried, Melly didn't get bond, he didn't get bond, because the state believes, as Melly killed them 2 kids, unfortunately. And while Bortlen was holding it down for as long as he honestly could, whoever his lawyer is probably one of the greatest lawyers of all time. I don't know if the lawyer is working with Melly's team or not. I don't know what's going on, at least with the lawyer situation. But he got this little nigga YNW Bortlen a sweet-ass deal. Not only with this guilty plea will he get out in probably 4 to 6 years and get probation, he'll be basically throwing Melly under the bus. In turn, biting the cheese. Now, we have DJ Academic somewhere on Twitter calling this a gunna plea and saying there's a new term. It's called the gunna plea. And basically, the gunna plea is when your boy takes a plea admitting you did the crimes without actually saying you did the crimes. that's the gunna plea, right? So this is some interesting shit that's going on over here, because basically Bortlen accepted this plea. He told he told like a motherfucker. This is basically him telling. This is basically him snitching and saying, yes, everything that the state has come up with is true. Which in turn is saying Melly killed them 2 kids, Sack Chaser and Juvie, I believe. I believe that's their names. May they rest in peace. So we're gonna get into these clips. First, we have a lawyer speaking. I don't think this is YNW Melly's lawyer. And an interesting thing that did happen I noticed this. I think 4 days ago when the plea was introduced, he didn't take it. Today he took it. Today he took the plea. Today Melly's cooked. 4 days ago he wasn't, because they was saying, here, this is on the table. This is a deal we have for you. Let us know what you're thinking. So I believe that it happened. And then I saw something about Melly hiring Drew Finland to be his lawyer. And that's a famous celebrity lawyer who helped a lot of celebrities, I guess, get off on cases. I don't know. So he hired Drew Finland. And so that was interesting. And then this happened. So it's looking like Melly is cooked. No matter what lawyer he hires, you can't beat, honestly, a star witness in the case, because this is literally the nigga, Bortlen, who drove the bodies to the hospital and told the police that it was a drive-by. Helped set it up. Like, they have him on camera shooting up the fucking... I mean, it gets no weirder than that. Like, the fact that they were able to, like, not come to a verdict quickly and all this, like, this is actually still going on for as long as it is. I don't know why, but it's just a waste of time, because you clearly have all the evidence you need to show that, hey, they set this drive-by up. This is accessory to murder, blah, blah, blah. But I guess if neither one of them actually say what happened or give the truth about the situation or give a motive, they really can't go on with the trial, or they was going on with the trial and the mistrial happened. I don't know. Melly's guilty. He's cooked. He was guilty from the jump. He's guilty now, and Bortlen just sealed his fate. Let's listen to this lawyer basically confirm to us that Bortlen snitched.
All right, let's talk YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen. He is now doing the triple Lindy. For those youngsters that don't know what the triple Lindy is, it is when you do several flips off a high dive, and he will be flipping. He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double murder case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in the prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve, he decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases. And I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time. But long story short is it looks like he's going to flip. And it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible. But depending on what he says, it will make the YNW Melly case a lot more difficult to try, but still not impossible. I've had cases where there were flipping witnesses where, I had a federal case with several flipping witnesses where we still got a not guilty. And it's possible to still get a not guilty in this case. Obviously, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. He has an excellent lawyer, by the way, Fred Haddad, who's a friend of mine, and I know Fred would have done a very good job for him at trial, but ultimately it is an individual's decision whether or not to become Chuck E. Cheese, and in this case, he has become Chuck E. Cheese. Is Chuck E. Cheese a mouse or a rat? I'm not sure.
Both. And this lawyer is memeing it up. But look, I'm going to be honest with you. While Bortlen is telling for sure, Melly put him in this situation. My nigga, you shot 2 people and tried to set it up like it was a drive-by. Why did you kill 2 of your quote-unquote friends? Like, no. This is sick. And honestly, at the end of the day, whether y'all want to call Bortlen a rat or not, Melly needs to be in jail. Like, if you will just kill 2 people that you were quote unquote close friends with, like, that's what I'm saying. We can, I guess, I don't know. I'm not in the streets, so clearly he signed up for the life. This is ratting for sure. But shit, if I was him, I would have told 2 weeks in. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have tried to get the what is it? The yak Gotti meal. I would try to get some wings first. Like, let me see if I can get some wings first out of this, and then I'm ratting. I'm telling you, I would fuck that shit. Why'd you kill two of my friends and then have me trying to fix it because you're the rapper? Nah, fuck that. And fuck you. Look, you've been under the jail for me. But, you know, Bortlen did. Look, at the end of the day, Bortlen held it down for as long as he could. As long as he could. You were over here trying to spin the judge and trying to make it seem like, no, this was a drive-by and there is no other footage or taping of anybody else, like, driving by and shooting at that car. Like, come on. And if that's the case, where are those niggas? Oh, we're not going to tell you that because we're not snitches. Well, Bortlen's about to tell. He's probably about to tell it all. Because when you're on fucking trial, double murder, 2 life sentences. When the judge was running it down, it sounded like 4. What the fuck are we doing? I'm telling y'all. But I guess the longer you hold out, the better deal you get.
Okay. So, Mr. Henry, again, 2 cases. We're going to do one at a time. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3, accessory after the fact to murder in the first degree, and as to count 4, accessory after the fact as to murder in the first degree. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? In case number 23, 10643 CF10A, as to count 1, tampering with a witness in a capital felony, and count 7, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. How are you going to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I will accept your no contest pleas as to each. I'm going to find a factual basis to support each based upon my review of each electronic probable cause affidavit as well as your stipulation in court here today. I'm going to further find that you have freely, voluntarily, and intelligently waived your rights, that you have knowingly entered each plea with the advice of competent counsel who you've told me that you are satisfied with, that you understand the nature of the charges and the consequences of the plea. Accordingly, and pursuant to the negotiated agreement, I will sentence you as follows. In case number 19, 1871 CF10A, as to count 3 and count 4, I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 years in Florida State Prison. That will be followed by 6 years of reporting probation. I will impose mandatory court costs. Pursuant to 943.325, I will need a set of your prints and DNA. Pursuant to 938.27, I will impose a cost of prosecution of $100. Sir, I'm also ordering restitution in that case payable to Terry, T-E-R-R-I, Bagley, B-A-G-L-E-Y, and Ashley, A-S-H-L-E-Y, Phillips, P-H-I-L-L-I-P-S, and reserving as to the amount. I'm going to give the state 120 days to tell me the amount of the restitution. If they fail to do so within 120 days, there will be no restitution. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys agree on the amount, I will impose that as another condition of your sentence to pay back. If they come back with an amount and the attorneys do not agree,
up in arms today, and they were like, it doesn't mean this guy is telling. He only has to speak about not the murder, but the witness tampering. I thought telling was, I hate the streets. They move the goalposts when they don't want to call a nigga a rat. Oh, nah, he not telling about the shit with Melly. He's telling about how he drove the body to it's like, I ain't gonna tell you how these niggas robbed the bank. I'll just tell you how we all went to Turks and we blew the money that they mysteriously got. Bruv, come on. He's taking a proffer. And the reason why I call it a gunna plea, the way how I've seen this structured so far, or what his lawyer, I'm gonna show what his lawyer is even saying. It's structured to say this plea didn't hurt Melly, but any plea hurts Melly. Are you dumb? It's like Thug. Any plea hurt Thug. Thug was saying YSL ain't a gang. And then this nigga Sergio Wanatelli Kitchens raises his hand and be like, nah, it is a gang. What are you talking about? Nah, it is a gang. Well, that theory goes out the window. That's the point. That's why it's a gunna plea. Because you're going to hear people argue that this plea is not direct telling. It's not 6. He's not doing a 6-9. But his plea, by very nature of the definition, all of his charges stem from one event or the events after or subsequent events, witness tampering, accessory after the fact, or murder. It stemmed from the murder that they claim Melly did. If you're talking at all, it means that the information will hurt Melly. You can't go into a proffer session and spin the government. You will do, by the way, he's adjudicated guilty of certain things already. If you try to spin the government in a proffer session or anything, if they find out you're lying about anything, it's off the table and you're already guilty. That's how it works. That's why there's a proffer agreement. In a proffer agreement, you got to be truthful, because if you're not truthful, your plea is kaput. So this idea that you keep hearing these dumb street niggas say that they're spinning the cops, you're not spinning a proffer agreement. A proffer agreement is different than what Jeffrey Williams did in the interrogation room. He's talking to an investigator. That's an interrogation. It's not a proffer agreement. A proffer agreement, well, in this case, there might be a detective, but it's going to be attorneys talking. This is attorneys. This is not like the cop with his bat. No, this is attorneys talking. Bortlen and his attorney and the DA is going to sit in front of him and say, all right, bet. Tell us what the fuck happened. Now, if y'all want to say that ain't telling, I don't know. Y'all could make up 30 different rules for this shit. Somebody say it's not snitching. He's giving factual false info. Okay, if that's what y'all want to believe. Let me just let this play a little bit now. You could understand what a proffer is. Remember, I'm not making this up my ass. You hear the judge. They agree with the state that there's going to be a proffer at a later date. On the plea agreement, they say he has to do a proffer. And by the way, if anything of the plea gets violated, the plea's out the window. And remember, the plea, once accepted, the judge, you're getting adjudicated no matter what the plea says. And you can only get adjudicated guilty, innocent. You could plead no contest. But sometimes they'll do, the prosecutor could do no pros, which means they're not prosecuting it. But that's not what a judge is going to adjudicate you as, right? He's guilty of certain shit. They dismiss certain shit. He's guilty of that, which means if he lies on his proffer, they're throwing the book at him for 30 years because I think he did nolo contendere, which is no contest. He did that for accessory after the fact. It goes up to like 20 or 30 years. If you lie, they're giving him 16 years, but really got to serve 10. By the time all the time off, he got to serve 7. If he lies, they're giving the plea agreement's out the window. So whatever you hear they're about to say to him, out the window, and they're giving him 20 to 30 instantly.
That's why I don't understand why Ak is sitting on the phone arguing and making bets with niggas that are clearly dumb. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think he's spending them or whatever you want to say, you're wrong. You're wrong. You want to know why you're wrong? Here's the biggest reason why you're wrong. They wouldn't have gave him this sweetheart deal if that was the case. The only reason you give this man this sweetheart deal is because he's willing to not only throw YNW Melly on the bus, but tell the whole truth and nothing but about what happened that night. That's it. It's the only reason you give him this deal. Like Ak said, if he decides to spin and lie and all this extra shit the niggas are coming up with, then guess what? The book is getting thrown at him, and he's getting 30 to 40. Maybe they might even put him back on trial with Melly. Let's keep it a buck. It's over. Bortlen's coming home in 6 to 7. Melly's done. It's a wrap. Ain't no might be. He's cooked. It's finished. No more murder on my mind. No more none of that. None of that. And that just show you how much your music has power and how much some people do really tell you who they are in their music. That's what I'm saying. It's some people that you should believe, and it's some people who's playing the character. YNW Melly was telling you he will kill somebody when he made that song. Gunna, he was playing a character. He was being a wrestler. He was wrestling. He wasn't into none of that shit. Apparently, quote unquote. Regardless of it, both have bitten the cheese. And my only question is right now, where the fuck is 1090 Jake? There's all this rat shit's going on. And 1090 Jake is nowhere to be fucking found. At least I ain't seen no videos from him on YouTube about it, which I would think he would be going crazy right now, seeing everything that's happening. But either way, Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Did Bortlen bite the cheese, or is he about to spin the cops? Go ahead. Say that bullshit so the algorithm can go up. I'm not responding to it. If you think he's not biting the cheese, then boy, I got a bridge I want to sell you in Brooklyn for you to jump off. Anyways, I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.